Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice, even now, are moving in the might of your strength. Not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart. And God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread. Healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed. And we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory, we give you peace, we give you honor, we give you blessing, we give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you, the fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name, ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty. It's yours. I decree it and I speak it. In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Yes, You, O Cubed. It's one-on-one, just me and you. And I am your spiritual thought leader, Regina L. Stillman. And listen, I'm so glad that you're with me here on this fine day. Y'all, can y'all believe it's Thursday? Oh my God, it is Thursday, January the 13th in the year 2022. And I tell you, time waits on no one. Time waits on no man. It's just moving right along. And we're halfway through the month, if you can believe that, already in the first month of this new year. Listen, I am so happy to be here with you on this morning, as I always am. You guys are just such a blessing. And, it's a Thursday. They're saying here, I'm in the Midwest in Kansas City, and they're saying that the weather is going to be nice today. And then look out, because snow is on the way for the weekend. Nonetheless, they say all the time, listen, it changes like Kansas City weather. You don't know what you're going to get from one day to the next. And I can almost say you don't know what you're going to get from 1 hour to the next, because this weather has really been all over the place. But listen, that's it. I'm thinking of that Afro Sheen commercial. Whatever the weather, my hair stays together. And that's the way you got to live your life. Whatever the weather, my hair stays together. Afro Sheen. Now listen, it's always a blessing to come in and see every last one of you beautiful lions that are in here Today we're just gonna kind of take snow, rebel snow. They're talking about snow. So listen, you know it's Diablo. It's Diablo. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna enjoy every second of today. I'm gonna enjoy every second of every day for that matter. It doesn't matter whether it snows, rain, sleet, snow, or hail. Come on, Map 5522. I'm just trying to wait 5 minutes. Stacy 546. Just wait 5 minutes and something different's gonna come along in the Midwest weather. Now, you know how we do it over here. We get this party started with our Grandpa Holmes's chair and seeing who made it into that VIP section. And listen, Discord was busy. I started to say bright and early, but I should say dark and early, because these babies started at midnight on the dot. At midnight on the dot, these babies were in there. So let's get started. Let's get this party crack-a-lacking, and let's look and see those beautiful souls that were in the VIP section. And I always want to stop because Miss Fabulous, otherwise known as Mel Holiday, who did get in a good space on yesterday. I want to say, as a matter of fact, she got Grandpa Holmes's chair yesterday morning. She didn't quite make it today, but I got to give her honorable mention on today. Now, the second runner-up to Grandpa Holmes's chair is Kim Possible 711. You are the second runner-up to Grandpa Holmes's chair. So we just want to give you some love. I know you got your traveling shoes on. We'll see you on next Tuesday. And listen, enjoy your vacay because you have earned every second of it. But again, you are the second runner-up. Yes, at 12:44. I'm sorry. Yes, at 12:44, you came in and got the love seat. So come on, I'm going to give it up for you one more time, sis. One more time for you. You did that. And now we gotta look, and look, you know what? I forgot my pictures, y'all. I've been so caught up. We started that first day having to get everything in the studio right, because my studio wanted to act like a side piece. It just didn't want to act right. So I've been missing bringing in. Well, let me go ahead and take my minds out. This is what I'm trying to do. Let me get myself together here. Y'all hold on for a second till spiritual thought leader gets it. I left my studio just like it was last night, and I didn't come in this morning and do my prep work, and it's showing on me. It's telling off on me. I was trying to be slick, but it said, no, we ain't gonna let you get away with that. Let me put that beautiful face up. That is Kim Possible 711, and she's that second runner-up. Come on and give her that congratulatory remarks there. I see your hands clapping, Mac 522. That's the way we do over here. Now, that first runner-up to Grandpa Holmes's chair is none other than Two Tambourines. Yes, Two Tambourines, otherwise known as MCP 812. You are the first runner up, and go ahead and get your lips, hips, and your fingertips on that love seat, because you are the second runner up, the first runner up. Let me get it right. The first runner up to Grandpa Holmes's chair, and the second person in the Lion's Den. So let me get all of that together, get all my juices and all my brain flowing in the same direction here this morning. Now let's get that first runner up, y'all. This is my heart. All of y'all are. But listen, this baby comes through strong and happens to be one of the minority in this stream, because I think we're predominantly women. But the first runner up and the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair is none other than, he ain't the first runner up, he is the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair, is none other than Truck Driver. Truck Driver is the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. You got your lips. I'm glad it's very comfortable, MCP 812. I looked over and saw that. I got tickled. Yes, truck driver, you are the winner of Grandpa Holmes' chair. And look at this handsome man. Look at that handsome man, otherwise known as James Sims. Man, we are so glad to have you. Come on, I got to give it to you. I got to give it to you. At 12 o'clock a.m., he was in there, and so was Two Tams at 12 o'clock a.m. It was just a matter of the difference of a few seconds there. So listen, they wasn't playing. They were not playing with that thing. They meant Jesus every step of the way. They meant to lie. They meant Grandpa Holmes' chair every step of the way. And so I got to applaud you guys, because that's how you guys bring the energy in here. Y'all come in here so serious. Y'all come in here ready. Y'all come in here flowing with all the love. And listen, that love comes right back to you. So thank you for starting our Lion's Den off in the right way this morning. I appreciate you guys. It's so special. Every last one of you is so special, and I appreciate you. Now, you know how we do. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. I really am excited about what we're going to share on today, because I always try to be open and sensitive to the flow. Oh, I forgot to get all of the. Come on, I need to give him his Grandpa Holmes' chair the right way. Let me get all of that up there. Yes, congratulations. I gotta get the fanfare in there right. Y'all can see my brain is a little bit slow this morning. Now, you know how we do. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. Because I want to talk. I want to talk today. Yesterday was a phenomenal day. I tell you what, we just had a beautiful time here in the Lion's Den. We started off just giving God praise for what God had done for Kim Possible and Kim Possible's mother, and it just turned into a whole nother scenario. Well, today we're just going to continue on with that open slate, but when I sat down in the chair, a thought came to mind that I want to talk about. So go ahead and get those coffee cups out. I see you, BTD Mom. I see you, MCP 812. I see you, Mac 522. Yes, yesterday was absolutely amazing. And let me tell you what, Mac 522 is a streamer. Y'all just click on her name. She is a streamer. Go out there and support her. She's unpacking. I watched the show, but she's blessing the people in the stream all while she's unpacking. So please follow her. I believe she's a new streamer in these Twitch streets, so we want to blow her up. Just go out there. Please give her a follow, and let's just show her the love that Twitch has for the folk over here. The Rebel Inc., I see your coffee cup. Stacy 546, I see your coffee cup. Come through. Nancy Jackson, I see your coffee cup. Come on in the room. MCP 812, I appreciate you so much, and you know I love you, girl. I love you. I see you in here. James Sims, also known as Truck Driver, but I call him my Mufasa. Come on, I see the coffee cups. I said, listen, roar on the road. That's what we're going to do this morning. And we see mercy, grace, and blessings right on back to you, Truck Driver. Love you so much. And if I didn't mention the Rebel Inc., Rebel, I see you in here, and I appreciate you. I thank everybody that's here. And while I'm there, let me just go ahead and do this real quickly, because I don't ever want to forget my moderators who keep this channel right. They do such a beautiful job. Even on yesterday, like I told y'all, honey, they not only come in and look beautiful, but listen, they come, oh, wrong one. They don't just come in looking beautiful, but they come in and they actually do an awesome job of moderating and covering this stream. So with that, I want to say thank you. And so here we go. I'm looking for my peeps, because they're just all that in a bag of chips. I got Shelly Thunder, who's moderating in another channel right now. She just moderates and then comes back and handles over here. But that's my girl Shelly Thunder. Up above my head, I hear thunder in the air, and whenever you hear that thunder, There must be a Shelly somewhere. And you know, she got us off started yesterday in that prophetic realm, just got to prophesying and talking and sharing. And next thing we knew, the trajectory had shifted. That's the way my moderators flow up in here. We are led by our fearless leader, the Rebel Inc. Yes, the Rebel Inc. She streamed on yesterday. She brought bangos back and the people were ready. They flowed in there like, listen, we were so happy to have her back in the Twitch streets. That's right, send that mod love, because these moderators are absolutely beautiful in every way. And then of course, they're flanked and brought up by Michelle Browno. That's my girl. All three of them, you gotta love them. But listen, they're movers and shakers, and I call her my quiet storm, because when she's in the room, she's gonna bring something with her. I'm telling you, she changes the atmosphere just by her presence. So we giving all kind of kudos and love to these moderators who come in here every day, and just out of the love of their hearts and their kindness towards spiritual thought leader, they keep this house in order. So I want to say thank you. I can never appreciate those that love on you and work with you enough. So I just got to give it up to the mods. Thank y'all. Now, this morning, as you can see, I'm just kind of in, I don't know if it's not a fog, but my thoughts are in a lot of different places because there's a lot going on. I know we love the mods. These are the best mods in the world, truck driver. I'm telling you, the best moderators in the world. My thoughts are kind of all over the place because I'm transitioning. Some of you all are transitioning. And so I'm thinking about a lot of things. And so we're going to kind of chit chat on that this morning. But as we move into that space and place, before we get there, I am going to take just one tall pumps. Yes, she pumps tall. I see you out there, and so much love coming to you, sis. So much love. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. I see those hearts. Now, this morning, I've had this ever since the first day, and because, you know, studio wanted to act like it was a side piece on Tuesday when we came back up in here, I really didn't get to talk on this, but I do want to take a moment and I love science. I love technology. So this story is near and dear to my heart. When I was younger, I actually said I wanted to be a doctor, and had great aspirations for being able to do that. I wanted to be a doctor, and pay attention to your kids in school. I never will forget when I had one counselor, you know, when you go in and you start talking about career goals and all that kind of stuff in high school. I had a counselor, when I told her I wanted to be a doctor, she suggested that I might want to consider being a lab technician. Anyway, that's for another day. That's a conversation for another day. But anyway, at one day and at one point in time, I had goals and aspirations of being a doctor. So this is really, hey, now I'm out here healing people, Mac 522. I'm out here healing people. It's just a different kind of healing. So listen, and as a matter of fact, my degree is as a metaphysician that I'm working on my dissertation. I'm working on my doctorate right now, and they are considered for the degree that I'm doing in metaphysics, metaphysicians. And so it's just a different kind of scenario, but that's all right. God knows who we are. And to just really kind of touch on that a little bit, she didn't deter me. Because believe it or not, I had another administrator by the name of Alton Moray. I got to give him props. That really, listen, you know who the lady was. She always looked like she was in pain, Stacy, like something was hurting her every second of the day. And that's a good analogy, Stacy, because a lot of times wounded people wound people, and she was in pain, and so she's passing that pain on. Yeah, but she told me that I should consider being a lab technician. And so at the end of the day, I have to give up props for Alton Moray, who was actually the vice principal of the school, who literally took me, put me in his car and took me over to UMKC, where they were just starting. And of course, I graduated in 82, so I'm getting ready to date myself. They were just starting the 6-year program. And he took me over there. It was called at that time the block program. And so he took me and talked with me and really tried to encourage me to go ahead and get in the program. But my mind was directed someplace else, trying to follow where, I wanted to go Rock Chalk Jayhawk KU, and they didn't have a program of that nature at that time. But you live and you learn. You look back in retrospect, you see how things could have been done differently. So I said I'm gonna do my 2-year program, transfer up to KU. That's what I had in my mind, because all my family folks were there at the KU campus. But I really, in hindsight, I should have followed. He gave me a glimpse of an excellent opportunity, and I should have done that 6-year block program, med school program. But it's all good. We're here, and let me say that. Let me say this. At the end of the day, I am where God wants me. And I do believe that. I am exactly where God wants me to be. So, I'm not going to cry over spilt milk and decisions. There are things that in our pathway can get us where our destiny is designed to be. I don't know if she was in pain or not. I don't. Stacy. Stacy, there was something wasn't right. When I look back, something about her affect was off. I don't know exactly what it was, but something was off. And, at the end of the day, I love you, sis. And I know you love me. Listen, don't y'all mess with spiritual, because my friends will come out swinging. That's my sister. Her eyes may be blue, but that's my sister. And listen, she's coming out swinging for her sister. I ain't even mad at you, Stacy. I'm not even mad at you. But the reality, there is some symbolism here. Pain, she looked like something wasn't right, and I stop and I think back. But also, let's look at this. And let me bring patriarchy in, because I'm an advocate for the tearing down and destruction of patriarchy. I really am, because this whole idea of a woman as a second class, second rate, second two scenario, I'm so opposed to that. Every ounce and fiber of my being is against that concept. And so let's also look at the fact, Stacy, that I say doctor, you say lab technician, because your mindset as the stick in the mud that you were, you see women in a place where there's certain, and I don't know that this was her thought, I'm just projecting right now, actually, but for an older white woman that obviously looked like she was a stick in the mud, that mindset that still had some twisted idea that women are not good enough to be doctors. Let's get you in the healthcare profession. At least she, well, I could have said something there, but I won't. But for her, a lab technician was just phenomenal. Any job that's honorable and not doing something crooked is honorable. So it wouldn't matter whether you talk status here or whatever there. So at the end of the day, but I can't help but wonder if a little bit of patriarchy wasn't lurking in that response that she gave to me to be a good lab technician, because she may have been operating under that old school delusion that still is here. It hasn't gone anywhere. We still have people that believe in patriarchy, so operate by patriarchy. So I look at it and I'm like, whatever, do what you do. Y'all know I didn't get my music going this morning. I was like, I feel naked this morning. What is it, son? And y'all know I got to have my music going on up in here. So let's get it. Let's get it going. Let's get that party going. But if that be the case of what her issue was, I don't know. But at the end of the day, miss me with that. And so parents, all of that being said, y'all pay attention to your children, and what people are telling them and who's dropping bugs in their ear and so on and so forth, because at the end of the day, everybody is not giving your child. And she was and that's why Stacy 546 knew exactly who I was talking about, because she was a counselor. Now we're talking about a counselor in the high school system. This wasn't, I was getting ready to graduate from Kitty College. You know, we didn't have all those graduations back in the day. Back in the day, we graduated one time before 12th grade, and that was 12th grade. And then after that, you go into college and your post grad and all of that. But you didn't graduate 5,000 times by the time you were in 12th grade. So, you know, this is at that level, and you stop and think, and you wonder, you know, what in the world, the influences that people have in your children's lives, and the things that people's words, because words do have power. Don't you fool yourself. Words have power, and the power of her words, and they missed the mark. Let me just say that they missed the mark. She didn't discourage me one iota from my dream and from my vision. She didn't. And even now, as I look in hindsight, I understand she couldn't give me any more than that, because she didn't have anything to give. People that don't have anything to give, y'all pay attention to that. Pay attention. Y'all know over here in the Lion's Den, I tell you guys all the time, pay attention. Because listen, if you don't have anything to give, why are you expecting from somebody that's empty? So at the end of the day, yeah, thank you, Nancy. I'm reaching my goals, and in not many days hence, I'm gonna have that official. You got that. And so thank you so much. That's my other sissy. Y'all coming out to it. Yes, MCP 812. I see that stunned look on your face, and yeah. So again, you know, sometimes you turn your children over to the school system and you expect the best from grown-ups to your children, but y'all got to follow up. You got to follow up. And so, you know, pay attention. So you asked her if she was okay. I'm coming back and reading these comments. Y'all too much. She was upset because I was, well, you know what, she wasn't even, did she teach, Stacy? I don't think she actually taught a class. I think she was just hired in as a counselor, as a school counselor, because in our school, the counselors didn't teach in the classroom. They were exclusively counselors. And so I don't believe she taught a class, and correct me if my memory is faulty on that, Stacy 546. I never had her for class. If she did, you know, she was just my counselor, and they assigned you counselors by your alphabet, so the name, your last name. So I don't know, I can't recall her teaching a class, but she had issues. She obviously had. DJ Stacy Blessed One is in the house this morning. Good morning to you, sis. Good morning. She is a streamer, and if you're not following this sister, that stream she had, just you always bless me. Oh yeah, I'm sure she probably did it to somebody else, Mac 522. I'm sure. And not to toot my own horn, but Stacy 546 is here, and she can attest to the fact that I was one of the highest ranked students in my school, and so academically. So, you know, when you tell a black child that's one of the highest ranked in the whole entire school, you should consider being a lab technician. That's when you need to stop and think about what's going on up in this piece. So, you know, I just got to throw that in there, and that's not where I was going, but since it came up, no, she didn't teach. Okay, I got you. I didn't think she did, but she shouldn't have been a counselor either, in my opinion. She didn't need to counsel either, because that was poor counsel. Good morning, Cassandra Isaiah. Come on in the room. I love you, sis. Come on in the Lion's Den. And yet we rise, and yet we roar. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Because nobody can stop you but you. I believe I said that one day this week. I've said so much this week, I don't remember what day it was. But nobody can stop you but you. I need you to get that down in your shondo, because again, we keep dealing with this concept. I went over and set in just for a quick second in One Reason stream this morning. He's so beautiful, and he always brings a raid over to the Lion's Den, and he is so beautiful. I love his spirit. And so when I got in there, he said, oh, before you leave, he knew I had to come over here and stream. He said, before you leave, spiritual thought leader, since I got you STL, let me play your song, because I'm telling you guys, this is where I need you to focus and refocus. I'm a spiritual being having a natural experience. I'm a spiritual being having a natural experience, and I'm having that natural experience in boss energy. I'm not just having an experience. I'm having an experience in boss energy because I'm a spirit being. So I want you to keep saying that and keep seeing that in your life. Keep manifesting that in your world, because that is so critical to you understanding that nobody can stop you but you. Nobody can stop you but you, because with every vision comes provision. It's the same thing. Same spirit, same attitude, truck driver. I got you all day long. You are so right. And you were one of the lowest ranked. We have the Stacy. Yes, girl, no, listen. And so can we talk about ranking? Because ranking by their system has absolutely positively nothing. Look at how awesome you are. Look at how powerful you are. Look at all the things that you've done. And I personally am not for rankings, you know, and she can tell you we had A or X, Y, and Z. You had English X, which was top tier, Y, which was intermediate, and Z. I don't like this whole idea of ranking kids and corralling kids into groups and I just don't like it. I and that's just me personally. Some of y'all, yeah, we got to do that so we can separate the kids out. But sometimes you talking about the slower child could be motivated if the slower child sat with a child that may have been more academically astute. And sometimes kids can explain to other kids better than the teachers can. So, and let me just, even on that point, let me say this. I had behavioral problems in elementary school because there was trauma going on in my life that nobody knew about, and I was acting out in class. And that's a word right there. Sometimes we need to stop and realize the kids that you all are labeling bad and putting all these tags and names on them, something's going on in their world. Maybe you need to stop and see what's going on with that child instead of calling that child names, labels, all of that we do. So at the end of the day, my behavior was very difficult, and I thank God for Virginia Lindblad, excellent teacher, the best teacher I ever had, and she was my 5th grade teacher in elementary school, but the marks of Virginia Lindblad are still on my life today. Miss Lindblad had the genius idea, instead of calling me names and labeling me and sending me to the principal's office and all the stuff that we did back in those days, she had the genius idea of allowing me to mentor the students that had a little more struggle. And I think that was the birthing in of my teaching. I love to teach, and I say to people all the time, even as far as my ministry, I still consider myself more so a teacher than a preacher, because my idea is I want you to learn something that you can apply, that can be applicable to your life when you walk out the doors. I'm not so thrilled about making you get all emotional and jump and shout and go into a lather and a tizzy. I really want something. I want to put some meat on your bones. I want to feed you something that's going to sustain you as you go. And to me, that comes from the teaching element. And she paired me up with the slower children, as we called them in our class. And I had times where the segments of whatever we were going over in class, because back in those days, SPED had to oftentimes go out of the room and they had their own teacher someplace else, and then SPED would come back into the room. And so they were partly with the rest of the class and partly to themselves. And when they would come back for the areas that we did in common, I was allowed to begin to explain to the other children from SPED the information that we were covering, and I loved it. I absolutely fell in love with it. And I think even to this day, I always have a special place in my heart for those that are in the room and nobody else is talking to them, for those that may be a little slower catching on, for those that are kind of the outcast because they don't fall under whatever criteria we give to the masses and the rest of the regular kids. I still have a tremendous place in my heart for that. And at the end of the day, You know, I just, that whole XYZ, I can stop and I can think, and have encountered some of those students and friends and classmates, because it's not a condescending kind of situation here. I wasn't above them. We were all in the same grade. We were all just kids. But that ability to share something, I still encounter one of those individuals in particular. The kids used to make fun of him all the time, and whenever I see him, he will still say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Regina, thank you, thank you. And I just love him. I love him. And I love that my teacher had the wisdom and the foresight to say, instead of putting this child out of class, instead of sending them down to the principal's office, which is it's not productive, and to say, let's find a way to redirect. And we're going to talk about that a little bit even today. Let's find a way to redirect this child in a way that's more profitable, and not only for this child, but for other people as well. So, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like the effects of that are still hanging on in my life, and I love it. And I appreciate her for that. So I'm not for the labeling system and all of that. So the lowest rank doesn't mean diddly squat to me, Stacy 546, because you all the way up there. You are, and I just love you. I love you. I love you. So the ranking stuff is for the birds. BTD mom said the counselor should have had resources. So if she was empty, she should have vacated that position. And I hear you, BTD mama. She wasn't gonna give up that check. She wasn't gonna give up those coins, baby. Those coins. And so at the end of the day, you know, that come to Jesus moment. Is this even the right place for me? Is this even where I need to be, you know, in this position with children? You know, I don't know, because I'm like, you know, a lab technician, really? Is that all you got? A lab technician? And like I said, I don't know if it was my gender. I don't know if it was my color. I don't know what her issue was that she came out with some mess like that. To my response that I want to be a doctor, but at the end of the day, she needed to be somewhere else. So whatever. She was one of the worst ones that was there. I agree with you on that, Stacy. She was one of the worst counselors there, and just totally unrelatable. No connection with the students. I don't think she attempted to connect with the students, Stacy. She was just there collecting that check. And in actuality, I don't know that she actually called you in to counsel with you. You had to go in. The only way you got a hearing with her, you had to go in there, other than the regular scheduled things that you had to do, such as checking your credits to make sure. And do they not do that anymore, y'all? Now listen, my mind is all over the place, but I just had a conversation with the grandparent on yesterday that just, or a few days ago, who just found out that the grandbaby only has one credit after going through. Now to graduate, to not graduate, but to actually pass to the next grade, the child needs 11 credits. The child only has one credit. Do they not check credits anymore? You know, we used to have credit checks, and I'm not talking about your money. I'm talking about, do you have enough credits and where are you at? And the goal of the counselor was supposed to be, one of those functions was supposed to be to sit down and help you talk through your schedule, select courses based on what your career goals were for the future, all of that kind of stuff. You know, we used to have counselors that did that. So the credit check, you didn't get to the last portion of school and then realize, oops, I need 11 credits and I only got one. How does that happen? I was listening in the conversation, but I was just blown away. Bishop Ronald B. Andrews, there's my brother. We got you in prayer, Bishop. We got you in prayer. I want those praying hands. Put those praying hands in there. We're praying for you, Bishop. And I've been praying for you ever since my girl. I saw her post up the other day. She was requesting prayer. I've been praying for you. I pray for you every day, but I started really praying for you on the other day after I saw that prayer request. So we got you in prayer. Thank you so much for coming up in here. You know, I love you. You are my heart. And listen, it's a new year and we looking for great things. I love you, brother. This is my brother from another mother. Y'all know I call him Mr. Integrity because this is the most integral man, one of the most integral men I've ever met. I mean, if you want honesty and integrity, Bishop Ronald B. Andrews is that for real, for real. And it ain't no game. It ain't no show. That's really who he is. We love you, man. Thank you for coming in here this morning. All kinds of mad love coming to you, sir. Now, that teacher don't even know God spared her life. Nancy, I come from praying to reading Nancy's comment, and I see people's lives are flashing before us. That teacher don't even know God spared her entire life, because in this day, it would have been another narrative to that. She was going to go for a ride and come back alone. Listen, Mel ain't in here this morning, but I got to come here. Listen, Mel, she has sold a trademark. She going to go for a ride and come back alone. This is how you going to do it. This is how you going to end up. Listen, we going for a ride and coming back alone in 2022. Mel, I had to get something for you. So listen, yeah, that would have happened in these days and times, in these Twitch streets and in the Lions Den. Because listen, this pride, Pride, this Pride Alliance is relentless, and you gonna hear us roar. So listen, don't play with me, because we will go for a ride and come back alone. I'm just saying. Now, so good morning, Shelly Thunder. Oh, there she is. Up above my head, I hear thunder in the air. And there must be a Shelly Thunder somewhere. Come on in here, sis. It's good to see you this morning. It's so good to see you. I love you. I love you so much. Now, listen, while we're having this conversation, your problem was you were bored. And listen, I was bored too. And that's why I was acting out as well, Stacy 546. And I can definitely say that for grade school. I was so bored. I was disinterested. You know how they have the little, back then they used to gauge your reading, and you'd have to, you know, test in the reading, and they'd put you at a certain level, and so on and so forth. And so much of that, I was already ahead of schedule for my class. And that, I have to say, I'm not even going to say it was because I was all that intelligent. I had two older sisters who were phenomenal. And my older sister, who was the best, the absolute best preschool, and when I tell you, this is what she ended up doing for a living and continues to do, pour into children, so that her academy was called Ubuntu Academy, and their logo and motto was where kids start smart. Those kids were learning French. Those kids were learning sign language. Those kids were learning everything. I'm talking about before they ever went to school. This was the academy she ran, and did a phenomenal job. But she had experience, because she had done that with my sister and I before she ever was grown. When she was a kid, she was teaching little kids knowledge before they got to school, and it just followed her throughout her whole entire life and career. And that's who she is, and that's what she does, and she's magnificent at it. So I can't even take the accolades of how I performed in academics. I had a sister and sisters who were older. They were older than I was, who taught me. And my parents took time with me as well. But really, you know, a lot of times kids learn better from other kids. So I had that upper hand, because I had somebody that had already exposed me to things well ahead of my time, so that by the time I got to grade school, I was bored. And so I get it, Stacy. And a lot of times we really need to pay attention to these kinds of things as well. And you know, you start the grading system, and you look at the grades, or you look at their attention span, or you look at their behavior, and you sometimes need to look at what's under there. You're looking at the surface, but sometimes you need to look and see what's under there. And then my sister made the point very well in her academy. I can't teach this child if this child is hungry. I can't teach this child if this child hasn't eaten today and didn't eat yesterday, and any day they weren't here with me in my academy, they've not eaten, and so the babies are hungry. Man, I never forget and I would go and I would visit her from time to time at the academy, because she just, I'm telling you, I just marveled at how she handled those kids. And I'm not just saying it because it's my sister. I'm saying this because she was gifted. This is a gift God gave to her. And I remember one time I went, and so I would volunteer doing different things. And so this particular day, I made some Anna Marie Stillman style spaghetti. And if you haven't had Anna Marie Stillman style spaghetti, it's not your regular spaghetti. I think I got MCP 812 in here, because I remember MCP 812 used to always ask mama to make her some spaghetti. I made some Anna Marie Stillman style spaghetti for the kids at Ubuntu Academy. And there was one set of kids and they came in late, but those kids still have my heart. And I still wonder to this day, where are those babies? Where are they at? Because they had challenges, y'all. They had challenges, and they were some of the smartest, some of the most beautiful, but some of the most out of control kids you ever wanted to see. And so they came in, and I understood the babies needed to eat. So listen, and this, I can remember this, the visualization of it is just as clear in my memory now as ever. And again, kudos to my sister who understood the baby can't learn when the baby is starving. So I set the babies down, had some of that Anna Marie style spaghetti on the table, put that down. Those babies lapped that spaghetti up like it was going, I mean, I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. And the baby, the little guy, he had spilled some of his on the table, because you know they're feeding themselves, they're using utensils and their hands. And so that baby, he put that eating utensil down, and he got that first taste, and he's like, oh no, we got food today, folks. That baby tore that spaghetti up. But this is the image that I will never forget, in addition to him throwing that utensil down and using his hand and just going to town, because that baby tore that spaghetti up. But then, you know how when kids have eaten a little and they're kind of messy on the table, and obviously spaghetti, you had spaghetti sauce. That baby took his tongue and started licking that table. I had to move him back away from the table, because obviously we're not going to sit there and let the kids lick the table. But that baby was licking the spaghetti sauce off of the table. That baby tore that spaghetti up. But understanding again, like my sister said, we're not going to send them in here to class and expect them to learn when the babies are starving. So there's so many things when you start talking about a counselor, when you start talking about a teacher and their position and their placement with your children, and understanding these are some things maybe with your own child. Sometimes as your child may be acting up, but you may need to stop and ask some questions instead of getting all the discipline and all of the all of the anger and you ain't acting like I want to act, because you cutting into my time, you cutting into my groove, you making me give you some attention. Maybe they need a lot more attention than what you're giving. Pay attention, because sometimes kids' behaviors are telling you something. You can truly say, oh, thank you so much, truck driver. Thank you so much. I love teaching. I have to say that I love teaching. And I have to say, I think that teacher's ingenious idea of having me to help instruct the other students in class that struggled a little more, I have to say, I have to, because I felt so much satisfaction in that. I got so much gratification out of that. It made me feel good, and not from the standpoint, again, of condescension. It wasn't about condescending attitudes or any of that. It was something felt good that when I would see the light bulb go off in those other children's, you could see it. You can tell when a person gets it. You can tell when that light bulb goes off and it clicks in. And there's something about when I would see that click, and that click would over and outshine the confused look. You know, when you see somebody and you can tell they're still struggling, and they're still in a haze, and it's still foggy, and it's still not clear. And a lot of times we want them to say, yeah, I get it, when they really don't get it. I can look at a person and look in their eyes and look in their face, and even though they may be saying yes, Thank you for liking the stream, Nancy. Even though they might be saying yes, you can still look at them and tell deer in headlights. This is a deer in headlights look. They still don't get it. And when you can continue to find other ways to break that thing down and then see that light bulb moment, man, you talk about gratification. And again, it's not about me, but it's about this person just came to another level. They just hit another marker. And there's a good feeling in that. Thank you so much for hosting the stream. Thank you so much for hosting the stream. I appreciate you, BTD Mom. For the entire 34 years. Oh, listen, I always looking for people that are that's who I gravitate to. That's who I gravitate to. And there's something in me. I feel that. And really, for those that really don't know, I said this the other day. I'm an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert, but I'm really an introvert. I'm a person that goes inward. I'm very shy. Michelle Browno, that's my girl. That's my quiet storm. Thank you so much for hosting the stream. I appreciate you, sis. I am an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert. Being an extrovert and acting as an extrovert is a learned behavior. Largely, and then some of it, it just, it is what it is. But I really am an introvert, so I can feel for people when I walk in the room and I see that person that's just over to themselves and nobody's talking to them. And listen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be appreciated. And so, it doesn't take, the Holy Ghost told me to go over and talk to her. The Holy Ghost told me to go over and talk to him. You don't need the Holy Ghost to tell you to be nice to people. So, that kind of stuff just kills me. Well, I just never thought about it. Think about if it was you. Would you want everybody in here to be talking to somebody and then this one person is over here sitting and just, to themselves? DJ Onyx Heart, that is my streamer and my guy. If you're not following him, please follow him. Thank you for hosting the stream. So I don't know, Nancy. Yeah, for the whole 34 years, that's who I am. For my whole 58 years, that's who I am. And there's just something in me that gravitates towards the people that are just left out there alone, because everybody needs somebody. And I don't care who you are. Y'all can keep on singing. Long as I got King Jesus, I don't need nobody else. You need somebody. That's why God made Eve for Adam, because it wasn't good for him to be alone. For everybody that has deceived yourself into believing I'm better all by myself and I don't need anybody else, you need some social skills, baby. You need some social skills. And you may need to go out into another area where folks, thank you, Sexy Vibes. Come on in here, and thank you for hosting this stream. You may need to, and welcome to the Lion's Den. It's so good to have you. Bless you, and thank you for coming in here. But listen, back to being alone. I always look for that person, because nobody wants to be the odd man out all the time. Nobody but nobody. I don't care. We need people. And some people have just come to that point of saying, it's easier for me, rather than to continue to be rejected, to just sit over here to myself and do what I do. But at the end of the day, it takes nothing from us to be kind to somebody. It costs you nothing to be kind to somebody. And that's just the way we roll. I see you, truck driver. You said it was my color and my gender. I'm coming on down. I'm reading these comments because I want to see what you guys are saying. It was both your color and your gender. I don't think you're far from the truth there, truck driver. So at the end of the day, one credit, Nancy, one credit. And so, like I said, I don't know what's going on in these days and times. You have to have X amount of credits to graduate. Exactly, Stacy 546. And so you had credit checks all along the way. At least we used to. So I'm assuming we don't do that anymore. Do we not do that in school anymore? We just let the kids get all the way to the end and then be like, oh, you ain't got enough credits. Is that how we doing it now? I got to shade on that, because if that's the way we doing it now, Houston, there is a problem. I haven't brought him out. This is the very first time in the new year. I haven't brought it out. But if that's the way we're doing it now, then I got to throw shade on that. If that's the way we doing it now. And I have to say, could it be? Where's Malcolm at? Could it be? The devil. Child, that ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. If the kids get all the way to the end of the line to find out what their credit status is, there's something. Houston, there is a problem. You mean to tell me that's the way we're doing it now? Please tell me that's not what we're doing. Tell me that's not what we're doing. We don't have credit checks. We don't have credit checks in high school anymore. Please tell me that's not happening. But yes, one credit. And so, I'm like, yeah, Mac 522, that's what we did. We had to have a certain amount of credits. And that was the whole function. Well, I won't say the whole function, but that was one of the primary functions of the counselor, was to make sure you were on top of your credits so you didn't get what Gomer Pyle said. Surprise, surprise, surprise. So, hey, if we're not doing that anymore, we got a problem in the system. And if the babies are not getting credit checks, somebody that's got a child in school right now, especially in high school, please, please, please tell me, have they stopped credit checks? Because, I'm just shocked, stunned, and amazed that you can get all the way and then realize you got one credit. So, oh, I'm trying to tell you, BTD mom, parents, that's a true warning sign if staff is not connecting with your child. And that is a word. And I got to unshade on that, because y'all know I don't just throw shade, I shed light. If you get to a scenario and you see that staff is not connecting with your children, there's a problem. And you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention to that. If they are not connecting with your child, there is a situation brewing and going on up in that situation. So here in your city, they only do it in high school. Okay. And yeah, I think high school is pretty much where we're talking. But yeah, high school, they do continue to do the credit check. I would hope so, because I'm like, the gift, Nathan Lamont, come on in here. I would hope that they're still doing credit checks. And then Mish, hey, greetings and salutations to you. Oh my goodness. She is a streamer, y'all, and I want y'all to follow her because she streams some good cooking. If you don't know how to cook, you need to follow Mish 8. She's gonna hook you up in the kitchen. Come on in here, sis. It's so good to see you. I'm slow coming down on these. I want to see what you all are saying. They're still doing it about 3 years ago. Okay, DJ Stacy Bless One. Thank you for that. Good morning, DJ Wild Rose Onyx Heart, who's also a streamer. If you're not following her, please follow her. I see you. She's out there in the streets doing good things. So come through. Okay, we coming on down, and I see where we are. So yes. I just wanted to get back and read all of those. So listen, Nancy. You got the ministry of laying on the hands for the beat down. Nancy, fancy Nancy. Listen. You got the Mel ain't here, but you got her spirit all over you. You got the spirit to go for a ride and come back alone. Come on, Nancy. There's always some lions. There's always got to be one or two that's gonna be Scar. I got Mufasa, but I got Scar too. And listen, I take all the lions. You don't have to be, everybody doesn't have to be Mufasa. I take Scar too over here in this lion's den, because a lion is a lion is a lion. Children need to be nurtured with love and affection. And at the end of the day, not only children, but grown folks too. Can we say amen? That's for real, BTD mom. Children need to be nurtured with love and affection. And some of these teachers are in the wrong profession. Absolutely, positively. Number one, if you don't like kids, you don't need to be there. Can I say that? If you don't like kids, you don't need to be there. And I'm not just talking off the top of my head. I was a contracted employee for a while in a program where I did SAT and ACT and PSAT for the kids in school, trying very hard and diligently to get more children of color, especially, but to get kids into a range where they could get scholarships to get into college, because at that time HBCUs had scholarship funding, and they may still well have that program out there, scholarship funding for students if they could get a score of 16 on ACT. I don't know what the scores are now, so they may have changed, so I don't want to put the numbers out there because this has been a few years back. But at the end of the day, there was money out there from HBCUs, especially if you could just hit a certain score, they would get you in scholarship in the colleges. So I was in the school system, contracted in teaching ACT and SAT test prep. And I saw teachers that, again, as you said, DJ Stacy Bless One, some of those teachers did not need to be in the school system. They were definitely in the wrong profession. And I would look and I would observe and I'd be like, and I would be like, parents, please show up. And in that regard, let me say this, because my session was actually a class. I was also asked to come in during parent teacher conference. And when I tell you parents don't go to parent teacher conference anymore, you heard what I said. Parents don't go to parent teacher conference anymore. So you can find out from the teachers how your child is doing and how well, or the areas that they need help in school. I sat there during that whole conference time and saw, out of a school that was packed to the gills with students, overcrowded, we didn't have enough chairs for all the students. That's the kind of scenario I'm talking about. And I sit here for parent teachers conference with the other teachers as well and see 3-4 parents trickle through. That's real talk. 3-4 parents trickle through parent teacher conference when I'm in a classroom that's so packed we're trying to find chairs for the kids. Now that's real talk, and y'all can blame the kids if you want to, but at the end of the day, when the parents don't show interest, y'all know how we do it. This is Yes You O Cubed, one-on-one, just me and you. I am your spiritual thought leader. And listen, we take this coffee with no cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black, because stop talking about the kids, and the kids don't care when the parents don't care. I'm just saying. Okay. So at the end of the day, yes, you came over to the academy. It was absolutely amazing, Stacy. That my sister, BTD Mom, let me call her name out for anybody that doesn't know. BTD Mom, also known as Anita Harvey, is my eldest sister. And that's who I'm talking about. This girl is off the chains. This girl is off the chain. She's anointed with kids. When I tell you, that's my first teacher. My sister even said, my sister next to me, SK8843, otherwise known as Sheila Miles, BTD Mom, aka Anita Miles, was our first teacher. So, when we talk about the ability to be able to grasp and understand and comprehend at a level above and beyond our years, it's because we had BTD Mom who was teaching us and had an academy going on in the home before we ever got to school. So that when we got to school, we already knew information beyond our years. So I gotta, come on, can I just do that for a minute? I'm gonna stop and give some applause to my first teacher. That's my first teacher. And that's just what she does. That's what she's gifted to do. That's her passion. That's who she is. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. And a child has to be challenged. The children, let me read that correctly. The children had challenged parents. Come through with that. The children had challenged parents. And so at the end of the day, and I know you're talking about those babies that, when I told the story about the eating of the spaghetti and licking it off the table and tearing it up. When I tell you that little baby threw that spoon down and put that baby put both hands in it, both fists, baby. He was he wasn't playing with that thing, but they were hungry. They were hungry. And so, yes, and the children had challenged parents. That is the truth about that particular scenario. And I would venture to say that's probably true of most scenarios when you see those kinds of things happening. And that's why we got to pay attention. We got to pay attention. And this is where you expect for teachers, counselors, you expect them, because they're in the system, to be skilled and knowledgeable in these areas, to stay up on new methods, to be aware of tactics. Thank you, Crazy Berry Town, for hosting the stream. I appreciate you, sis. That's my girl, and she is a streamer. Y'all go out there and get your Zumba on with Crazy Berry Town. She will get your whole body in shape as well. On Fridays, on tomorrow, she will be here with me in Good Grief, because she is the reason that we started that segment. She touched so many of you all, and so much response came back from the segment that she did in her interview talking about grief. We have started that 12 noon every Friday, Good Grief, right here with Crazy Berry Town. Kim Possible is going to be out of town this week, but we're still going to be here, so you can catch us here for Good Grief. I love you, girl. Now, come through, Mish Mish. Your son is struggling. I love that son, S-U-N, because he's the radiant sunshine. Come through, Mish Mish. Come through. Girl, you done lit up my whole day with that right there. Yo, son, yo, S-U-N, and capital. Oh, listen, I got to applaud that. I love it. That's when you know you got a king. That's when you're raising a king. You're raising the sunshine. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. Now, he's struggling in first grade. He is super smart, but he's distracted and he doesn't want any help. And see, that's the thing, Mish Mish. This is where Mike City, Mike City, Mike City in the house, y'all. That's my baby. That's my guy. Y'all go out there and follow him. If you're not following Mike City, he will bless your whole life. He's a vibe all by himself. Yeah, you got to find a way to really engage. Hi, I am Lex. Thank you for the resub. I appreciate you so much. Come on and let's roar in here. I appreciate you. A streamer, please go out and follow everybody out here in these streets that are streaming. And this is the thing, Mish Mish. Sometimes you got to come up with, thank you for hosting the stream, Mike City. Sometimes you got to come up with ways, creative ways to hold that child's attention and make an approach. And you know, if they're already super smart and they're distracted and it's not holding their attention, likelihood is that he's bored. And it could be something else, but likelihood is that there's a strong likelihood that he's bored. And so you got to find another form of engagement. And engagement matters. That's what Dr. Dady Priest said. Y'all know that's my girl. I always, any chance I can, talk about Dr. Dady Priest. I talk about that woman because she is just phenomenal in what she does. And her stream is engagement matters. And there's so much truth to that. I don't care what you're doing. Engagement matters. And so your son, S-U-N, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Your son actually needs engagement in a way that holds his attention at his level of comprehension and understanding. And if he's advanced and then he's beyond, listen, the saints are going to have to wake up and do something different. The saints are going to have to wake up and do more. J Trey 707, thank you for hosting the stream. Come on in the Lion's Den. So glad to have you here. Get your coffee cup out. So at the end of the day, Mish Mish, you're going to have to engage. You need to continue to engage the teachers, the teaching staff, to understand, you know, we're not just going to let you off the hook. What can we do together? Angel Eyes 2005, come on in here and thank you for hosting the stream. Good morning to you. Get your coffee cup out. We got to find another way to engage this sun, this radiant sun, because at the end of the day, I see that sunshine. You are my sunshine. We got to find another way to engage him, because woe be it unto us if we let him go through the majority of his learning career in an unproductive way. Because I feel, sometimes I just feel like, man, I was so bored. I was so, it was just like, why am I here? Why am I here? I literally, and I was out of control. I was out of control when I got to high school with this particular teacher, because he just irritated me to no end. But the man spelled Nathaniel Hawthorne with no N's. But anyway, that's the truth. I'm not lying. The man spelled Nathaniel Hawthorne with no N's. Anyway, and he was an English teacher. So at the end of the day, I told that man, I said, listen, you so dumb. You're so dumb. You're so dumb. You're just so dumb. I promise you I can pass your final at the beginning of school year because you're so dumb. And this man, in his stupidity, I said to him, so let's make a bet. You give me the test, and if I pass the test, I'm done. And the man, who had no control, had no classroom. Now, I was out of order. Be it understood. Be it understood. That wasn't boss energy. I was out of order. But at the end of the day, the man was so dumb. And the man let me take the test. He let me take his final, which I passed. And so woe be it unto him, because I wreaked hell and havoc in his class the rest of the year. I did. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell what God loves. I'm gonna tell the truth, shame the devil. I tormented that man in his class the rest of the year. Because, I can pass your test and I'm just coming in 10th grade. I'm just walking in the door. Give me your test, because I promise you so stupid I can pass this test right now. And so I wasted, and this is what I really am trying to get to. I wasted a year's worth of learning in a scenario with somebody who didn't have the equipment and the skills to challenge me and take me to another level. That's very unfortunate, because that's wasted time. That's time I could have been learning something effectively and efficiently to help me move myself forward in my journey. So I don't want to see that happen to your son, Mish. And that's the only thing I'll say to that, because in hindsight, in retrospect, every year of learning needs to be capitalized upon. Every year of learning needs to be utilized and to its fullest, and to the extent that that child is continuously growing. And when they get in classes where it's just, we used to call them PUD courses, but this was actually my English course. It wasn't a PUD course. This was a required. And I wasted a year. I wasted a whole year of my life in that man's class of learning, of areas where it could have been profitable learning. And so please, your son, your SUN, don't let that be his outcome, because there are teachers in there that don't know how to engage him in at the level that he's at. So, it just, I'm just saying, show up. Come on, BTD mom. Mish, you got some information here coming from BTD mom. Show up unexpectedly in your son's class and see what's really going on up in there, and hold those teachers accountable. So listen, I agree with that. Come when they don't expect you to come, and see what they're really doing in those classes. And I'm telling y'all, some of you would be shocked, stunned, and amazed to see what goes on in the classroom, and to see what doesn't go on in the classroom if you just show up. So it's some amazing stuff. Bishop, I'm gonna have to make you some spaghetti, because listen, Anna Marie's spaghetti is like no other spaghetti that you've seen. I'm telling you, she has her own recipe that is uniquely hers. So yeah, I'm gonna have to bring you some spaghetti over there. It might just be some healing to your body, because it works. I'm telling you, it works. So listen, common sense is free. Come on, Nathan Lamont. I'm so happy to see you up in here. I'm so happy to see you. Now I'm coming on. So listen, sexy vibes come through. I'm so glad I'm saying something that I hope is resounding, is resonating with you. So come on and do that, Mish. Show up. Just show up. And so at the end of the day, and I understand now, I love now, Mish, I love you when you say he plays a role too. As Dr. Dady Priest would say, kiss your brain. kiss your brain, because this is an issue where some parents don't want to acknowledge your child plays a role in it too. Now, just like I said, baby, I cut up in a whole lot of teachers. I gave folks headaches. I gave folks migraines. I made folks question, why did I ever start teaching? I made folks wonder, why did I come here? I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. There were days and times, listen, tormented and wounded people wound people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Children can wound adults. You better ask somebody. Y'all ain't ready for me. Listen, no cream, no sugar. I'm telling this and taking this coffee with no cream, no sugar, because I'm telling it like a Tiz. We got to take it strong and black. Some of these kids are tormenting these teachers to the point that these teachers want to quit. Is that your child? Is that your child? Because some of these kids, Lord God, today, now we do need to deal with their issues. We do need to deal with their issues. We do need to hold the teacher accountable. But listen, parents, I love Mish for being able to be responsible in her parenting to say, my child plays a role too. Because sometimes we put so much blame on the teacher, the system, and everything else, and we leave the child out, number one. And number two, we leave the home environment out, because the home environment, even though they go to school, the home environment sets the stage for their learning. I said something right there. Even though they may go to school and sit in front of the teacher, what's going on in that home environment is setting the stage for that child's learning. Now listen, somebody need to get that. Somebody need to get that. So I appreciate you, Mish, that you understand the accountability of your child. And I say this. I was one of a minority in a predominantly white school system, but in my school, it was even more so. So at the end of the day, it was not uncommon for me and my best friend, Sandy Turner, to be the only black kids in my class, maybe 2 or 3 more sprinkled in here or there, depending on how the enrollment was. But predominantly, I was with all white kids the majority of my education. So this is the thing. I had a classmate whose mother was off the chain. I had a black classmate whose mother was off the chain. And not only was the child out of control, the mother was out of control. So you got a big, burly, out of control black mother in a predominantly white school system, and them white folk were scared of her. Please believe what I'm saying. They were scared of her. And so because she was so out of control, and that was their experience with the black mother, they never called my mother in many instances when she should have been called, because they didn't know how she was going. Now they got to know her, because one thing about Anna Marie, she was going to come to the school. She was going to be known. She was going to be a room mother. She was going to be on PTA. She was going to do all of that. She was president of PTA. I don't know how long down the road, but until they figured that out, I got away with bloody murder, because my classmate's mama was out of control and they would not contact my mother. So listen, I took full advantage of that. They would not call my mother and tell her I was out of control, because all it took really was one phone call and it shut all of that down. I promise you. But at the end of the day, it still stands true that children have to be held accountable for their part in the matter too. And then we've got to work together cooperatively with everybody to make sure that everybody's feet are being held to the fire, and that everybody is accountable for everybody's role and the part that they play in this situation. So I appreciate you for saying that again, Mish. I believe you're going to have a great experience, and I speak over that child's life. Listen, God has him here for a purpose, and the sun, S-U-N, just as you described him, is going to shine like never before and really be a leader in this world today. So I appreciate the king that you're raising. So I love it. I love it. I love that. So listen, I'm coming on down and I'm looking at you. Used to be that way, DJ Onyx Hart. You used to always feel like the odd man out, and you would always pray, why do I not have good friends? Then I came to Maryland and I'm meeting people and making friends left and right with DJ Wild Rose Onyx Hart. Sometimes you need to move. Come on, DJ Onyx Hart. That there's a spiritual word in there. Sometimes you just need to move. So come on. You went to Florida in July. I see that conversation going on. Good. They give you credit updates printed clearly on the progress reports. Listen, Tall pumps, and she pumps tall. She's answering my question that I had out there earlier. Are they not doing this anymore? Because I'm like, if they don't, shade. But Tall Pumps said, let me make it clear. Let me put it out there. Let's get an understanding. They give you credit updates printed clearly. I want you to underscore that, Tall Pumps. Printed clearly on the progress reports. They was playing games with that young person. So listen, Tall Pumps, I hear you. And then that begs the answer, are the parents looking at the progress reports? Are the progress reports getting home? You know, now y'all know we call them grade cards, progress reports. So now, are we looking at the grade cards? And if the grade cards aren't coming home, I tell you what, my mother knew Hades recipients. Nathan Lamont. My mother knew when grade cards were coming home. Now, I couldn't have even gotten away with not bringing grade cards home, because mama would have been like, where's your grade card? Where are your grade cards at? Now, I'm saying something here that's profound, whether you realize it or not. Because at this point, listen, when we really look at this scenario, I'm going to go back and say everybody's got to take their role in accountability. You know, show up at the school. If whatever the situation is, good, bad, or ugly, just show up out of the blue. If you care and if you want to make a difference, just show up at school and see what's going on. See what's going on. Do you hear me? See what's going on in your school. See what's going on in the system. And then even if you don't do that, I said it earlier, I sat in my room with the other teachers during parent-teacher conference, wall to wall, can't find enough chairs for the kids, classroom in size. 3-4 parents trickle through the doors over that 3 or 4. And you know, we sitting there bored. I'm sitting there mad because I'm like, it's a whole lot of other things I could have done with these 3 hours other than sitting at this school, you know, and you come in, you bring your little cookies, you bring your little punch, you decorate your little room, you put all your little stuff out there, refreshments for the parents so you can sit down and have this little chit chat with them about their child. Keisha Key 36, thank you for hosting the stream. I appreciate you, sis. You do all of this prepping for these parents to come through, and the parents don't show up. And obviously we're not looking at printed progress reports either. So at the end of the day, what can we say? And Tall Pump said, I'm not gonna let you off that easy. I'm just not gonna do it. So at the end of the day, y'all, you have to have your credits. A whole lot of people have neglected their responsibility on this one. And I'm with you. I hear you guys talking to me. Over here. No credit check to the senior year. You have to email the Michelle, Teresa Jones, that's my 411 Connect. That's my intel. Come on through, sis. I love you. Come on in the Lions Den. Okay, so Michelle Brownell, Tall Pumps, she's talking something different. No credit check till the senior year. You have to email your counselors to get it. Shade. No, now y'all heard it right there. And I can tell you for one, Michelle Brownell is a very involved and engaged parent. So this isn't somebody that's just willy-nilly, I don't know what's going on. But I think that this is somebody that she's talking for her school and for her area. No credit check until senior year, and you got to email the counselor. So once more and again, could it be me. The devil. Child, that ain't nothing but the devil. That ain't nothing but the devil. Cause listen, I need to know what's going on. But that's where, come on, DJ Onyx Heart, pay attention. Pay attention. You got to pay attention, parents and grandparents, because many of it is grandparents that are taking care of the grandbabies in school. So listen, whoever it is, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention, because at the end of the day, we don't want these babies to get to the end of the line. And I'm gonna unshade right here, because you know I don't just throw shade, I shed light. You got to pay attention, because you don't want to get and find yourself in a hustle and a scuffle trying to get your babies the education that they need to be able to get out of school. I got you. So still doing credit checks, go to PTA meetings, or just show up to create your own meetings. And I do believe in that too. Create your own meeting. Call the teacher and say, hey, I want to meet with you off schedule. It doesn't have to be because it's parent teacher conference time. Just make your own time. I want to talk to you, see what's going on with my child in your class. So this is some good information out here, you guys. This is some good information. So I appreciate you all. And this isn't where I was trying to go, but this is where we ended up this morning. So you just asked your high school senior, and she said, no, they don't have credit checks anymore. I hear you, so I tell you what, Mel done taught us how to roll up out of here, and we go for a ride and come back alone. Nancy, I see you there. I want to say good morning to everybody that has come in during the course of this conversation, and we just in here chit-chatting. I said what I said. Come through. Hi, I'm Lex. I love you, girl. Come through with that. I love you. I love you. So at the end of the day, yes, there's a lot of money out there. I'm scrolling through, and I just want to say Crazy Berrytown is an instructor. She is a college professor. So she can attest to some of what we're saying in here, because she deals with your children too at the college level. So as she said, she had to go through, as we were doing some prep for Good Grief, she had to go through the students that did nothing until the final day of class, that want to come crying and snotting and asking for a grade. Please don't fail me. Please don't flunk me. But baby, and funk is right too. Don't funk me and don't flunk me. But you brought the funk. So listen, at the end of the day, you're going to get the grade that you earned, and that's an F. Let Jesus lead you all the way. I'm gonna let you gonna get the grade that you earned. It's an F. So, I love you, but it's an F. That's what you earned, baby. That's what you earned. So, listen, that's just the way it is. So that's the way it goes. Yes, I see you, Tall Pumps. You got to be proactive versus reactive. Don't just wait until something happens and then have some kind of reaction to it. Go ahead and be proactive before it ever happens and stay on top of that thing. Is Stacy leaving? Oh, she left while I was gone. I love you, Stacy. I love you as you headed out. Common sense is free, but sometimes it's not so common. Lord Jesus. And so there you go. Now, I see you, DJ Wild Rose Onyx Heart. Now, let me see what time it is. Oh, y'all, I took that to a whole nother level, but I want to talk about something else before I get out of here. So I'm not going to tell the story that I was going to tell. I guess I'm going to save that for tomorrow. But get your coffee cups out, get your coffee cups out, get your coffee cups out. This is a word that came to me as I was getting in my chair to start this stream on today. And this is not only for myself. And so I'm talking right now to Regina, to a spiritual thought leader. I'm talking to me, and y'all can just be a part of my conversation to myself. I want you all to get ready for your next iteration. Get ready for your next iteration. And so I see you, Shelly Thunder. Get that coffee cup out. Get ready for your next iteration. And this is a word that I want to share graciously to myself, and I want to share it graciously with you. I see you got your 20 cups -1 come through. I just broke it for you. Can I break another one? There you go, DJ Onyx Heart. Get ready for your next iteration. Get ready for your next iteration. And I want you to hear me. MCP, I'm so glad you're here, sis. I want you to hear me. I'm glad everybody that's here, this is a word, and you're here for divine purpose. Your next iteration. The Spirit was dealing with me because it was like sometimes we don't want to make that next that shift to the next iteration. It's uncomfortable. It's different, but yet and still. So when you say iteration, we see it more so in technology now. They come out with software, and each iteration they do upgrades. They come out and they get an idea. Now, an iteration, if we just deal with it from a basic concept, is this. The best way I know to talk about what's an analogy I want to use for explaining just the basic concept of an iteration. Okay, so you have an algorithm that goes along with eating cereal. There's a repetition that goes anytime you want to eat cereal. There's something that you do. There's a process that's repeated again and again and again for this process. So let's look at the yeah, he's -2 now, DJ Wild Rosanna, sorry. He's at 18. So this is an iteration. So there's a process that's repeated, and it's repeated, and it's repeated. So the iteration, that algorithm for how I eat cereal is I get a bowl, and then I get a spoon, and then I get my box of cereal and I open it up. I pour that cereal in the bowl, and then I put some milk in the bowl, and depending on what kind of whether or not I add sugar or not, I add some sugar to the bowl, and then I eat that bowl of cereal. Okay, so that's that first iteration of the algorithm of how you eat cereal. So then I ate that first bowl, and I'm still hungry. So guess what? There's certain points in that process I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do it again. So I'm gonna get that box, and I'm gonna open that box of cereal, and I'm gonna pour it in my bowl. And so you see what I'm talking about. That process and that system is an iteration, and we see that more so that when we get into technology, especially where computer hardware and software is involved, they come up with new upgrades and new iterations of that hardware or that software. It's still doing the same thing. It's still going through those same processes. I think if we go all the way back to, I remember, and I'm not a computer programmer, so hey, I see you. One Reason, I know, I appreciate you lurking and working. I love you. That's my brother. And if you're not following One Reason, y'all please follow this brother, because he is so precious. I call him the Bishop of Twitch. That's my guy. Thank you for lurking and working. So much love to you. So that's an iteration. That's how our iteration works. So again, if I talk about the algorithm of eating cereal, that process repeats itself over and over again. You're going to get that bowl. You're going to get that spoon. You're going to get that milk. You're going to get that cereal. You're going to open that box of cereal. You're going to pour that cereal into that bowl, and you're going to put that milk. That process just continues to repeat itself. Okay, so that's an iteration. Something about the process continues. But this is where I want to go with it, because technology is so good at teaching us how to not get caught in an old iteration. Yes, some things are going to remain the same, but then somebody may say, let's automate this iteration. Let's automate. So now if we automate it, how can I automate it? And that's where technology starts coming into play. So the process is still going to be the same. You're still going to need to get that bowl. You're still going to need to get the spoon. You're still going to need to have a box of cereal, or maybe not a box of cereal. Maybe it's going to come down a chute. Maybe somebody creates a chute that the bowl, maybe there's some kind of automation that actually pulls out the bowl. Maybe there's some kind of automation that's created to get the spoon. Maybe there's some kind of automation that's made where there's a chute where you just push the button and the cereal just shoots down the chute into your bowl, and then the milk pours in from wherever. But that process is the same, but you're coming up with new iterations. I hope that makes sense. You're coming up with new iterations. Same process, new iterations. Knowledge is power. Empower yourself and others. Come through, Cassandra. So this is what I want you to understand. So the Spirit started talking to me, and this is where I want y'all to hear me. And I hope you can make sense of this analogy that I'm bringing this morning. Good morning, Barbara Hardy. There's my girl. There's my friend. These are they in the house. These are they in the house. The moment an old process changes, folks ask why, and why change? Why fix what's not broken? It's just a way to make us lazier. That's what some folks say. But at the same time, if we hadn't had iterations, I wouldn't be here in your house or wherever you are, in your car, on your phone, wherever you are. If there had not been iterations to the process, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing and streaming to your wherever your place of abode is. Iterations are good. Iterations are good. And just like King Kuji said, a lot of times when iterations come, there is resistance to the change. There is resistance to the change. So this I heard in my spirit this morning, and when I sat in my chair, I promise you, this is what dropped in my spirit. Challenge yourself, Regina, and challenge the people. Do not try to live in one of your old iterations. I said a word right there. Do not continue to live in one of your old iterations. You thank God for iterations, especially in nursing. I know you're right, Michelle. I know you're right. Do not continue to live in one of your old iterations. Some folks still hate that slavery was stopped. They love the fact that they had someone else to do what they do. Come on. Iterations come through. It's a new thing. Do a new thing. Now, this is the thing. Don't have resistance. And you know what? It's kind of like, and I'm kind of taking this out of context, but I want you to track me on the concept. So this isn't necessarily true to an iteration directly. This is going to be more indirect. For those of you all that still have that same cell phone you had 10 years ago, you still got that same cell phone that you had 10 years ago. And then you wonder why your connectivity is poor. You wonder why your connectivity drops all the time. You wonder why you buffer when you're trying to watch me on the stream. You wonder why, for no reason at all, it just disconnects. You wonder why you're not getting the same viewing pleasure that everybody else is getting. And you're wondering why everybody else is having a good time and going on about their business, but you keep dropping the stream and you keep having problems because you have not upgraded. You still are living, and why do you want to stay with that phone from years ago? I know the arguments. I don't want to spend that money. I don't want to this. I don't want to that. And that's just too much. But really, I think if some of us were really truthful, it's that you've become comfortable with that device. You've become comfortable with that process. You've become comfortable with what that phone does for you, and you like using it. Now, at the same time, y'all preaching over here. King Kuji got it going on. You at the same time, you get frustrated that you get so much buffering. You get frustrated that you keep getting disconnected. You get frustrated because you're not getting the same sound and the same picture that everybody else is getting, but you won't upgrade because you found a way. Good morning, Psalmist 4. Come on in here. Love you so much. Get your coffee cup out and let's get going. And the Lord said to me, there's so many of you that the next iteration has really happened in your life. And some of it, God said, and I didn't even ask your permission. God said, I just did it. Am I talking to anybody in here? I hear the Spirit saying, I didn't, because I'm ready to launch you into a whole nother dimensional realm. Some stuff I didn't even ask your permission. I just did it. Come on, Tall Pumps, you got to get out of that comfort zone. I didn't ask your permission. I just did it. And so if we look at the realities of iterations and the role that iterations play in our lives, come on in here, KB Browns. We just having a little chit chat in here about iterations. I got to deal with the iteration that is currently before me. And so I'm saying to some of you, God has positioned you right now, and the upgrade is out there and it's available. But some of you are still trying to do it with that same cell phone from 10 years ago, when you've had, I don't know how many iterations since 10 years ago was technology on your phone. Am I talking to anybody? And so at the end of the day, I hear that there is a spiritual calling to you. Are you living in the right iteration of your life? I'm going to say it again. Are you living right now in the right iteration of your life? Or are you still trying to hold on to those past iterations that are now, in most instances, obsolete? Because 9 times out of 10, take that 10-year-old phone in there to the cell phone company. They don't even want your phone anymore. They don't even want that phone anymore. You know how sometimes you can take it in? Psalmist 4, thank you so much for hosting. You know how you can take that phone in and you can kind of get a trade out for that phone, because they can still, in some instances, repurpose that thing and whatever. But listen, your 10-year-old phone is so far behind, they can't even use it anymore. They're like, no, you just keep the phone. We good. Keep the phone. We good. We're good. We don't need your phone. Keep it. There's nothing we can do with that, because in every area, so many iterations have come out and come out and come out and moved on and moved on and moved on, that what you have is currently completely obsolete. And so this is where I have to ask some of you all, if I can kind of, I'm massaging this and manipulating it a little bit, but yet and still you understand the concept of iteration. Each iteration, yes, I'm dealing with the process, but I'm coming up with new innovative ways to, you can't even get a rebate off of it, Psalmist. You can't even get a rebate off of it. You're coming up with new innovative ways. Thank you for hosting the stream, Shelly Thunder. I appreciate you, love. You're coming up with new innovative ways. There's so many ways beyond where you have this iteration. There's so many iterations that have come out since then. We can't do nothing with that. Some of you, and I want you to see this as a metaphor, allegorically. I want you to see this as a symbolism. I want you to get this rhetorically. Listen, some of y'all are still trying to live in a past iteration of yourself. I'm going to say it again. Some of you are still trying to live within the walls and the confines and the boundaries and the existence of a past iteration of yourself. Am I talking to anybody? Now, just like we started saying on yesterday, I need you to go ahead and stream yourself. I need you to go ahead and broadcast yourself. But I can't have you broadcasting and I can't have you streaming that 10-year-old, 10 times past iteration of yourself. I need you to come into your current iteration. Am I talking to anybody? Again, you can't even get a rebate for that phone anymore. You can't turn that phone in and do diddly with it, because there are so many iterations that have come out since then. That's not even who you are anymore. Am I talking to anybody in here? That's not even who you are. I had this conversation when I told y'all on Sunday, stop running up in here talking about I'm a sinner. That's not even who you are anymore. Why do you want to continue to relate? Why do you want to continue to identify with the iteration that's so far back in your life, but you still want to continue to identify? You still on that 10-year-old cell phone. Am I talking to anybody in here? And listen, this goes all across the board. This goes all the way across the board to all of us. The challenge of 2022. Are you trying to live your past self, or have you moved into your current iteration? Because I promise you, you're a new version. I promise you, you're an improved version. I promise you, you're a healthier version. I promise you, you're a more whole person. I promise you, you're a more humanitarian type person. I promise you, you're a more feeling person. I promise you, you're a more thoughtful person. I promise you, this iteration of you is the bomb. But you keep trying to live that past iteration that's completely obsolete. Am I talking to anybody in here? You just won't let go of that old cell phone. You just won't let it go. Let it go. You're not going to stream to the masses off of that old phone that every time you get on, it starts buffering. Oh yeah. And I want you to understand this. Not acknowledging the new iteration within means you're denying your true growth. Come through with that, Psalmist 4. Some of us, when we can't love ourselves enough to acknowledge the growth that we've made. We'd rather continue to talk about all of our failures, all of our past falling down. We identify so strongly with that iteration that we just cannot let ourselves go on to the new iteration. Am I talking to anybody in here? And as such, you keep doing the processes from that old phone. You keep doing with that same software, with that all of that hardware, limitation and restriction and what it couldn't do. It did what it could do 10 years ago, but for what's going on 10 years later, it can't keep up. It can't do it. It cannot perform. And y'all just don't understand why the spirit who keeps trying to tell you you're a spiritual being having a natural experience, the spirit keeps trying to tell you, listen, it's a new iteration. You're not that 10-year-old phone, because that 10-year-old phone cannot handle what I'm producing. It can't handle the speed. Is anybody hearing me? It doesn't have the ability for storage. It can't handle the games. It can't handle any of the new technology because it's too old. Am I talking to anybody in here? Doing a new thing, the in crowd, because it's happening. And so the spirit says, listen, I need you to be careful not to be living an old iteration of yourself. And I'm talking to myself. I told you, I'm really talking to myself. I'm really talking to myself. You all just happen to be here listening to my conversation out loud while I'm talking to myself. I heard it so clearly. Be careful to make sure that you're not living your old iteration. Be careful. Be clear. Be conscious. Be aware. Be alert. Be clear. Don't live a past iteration of yourself. And so this morning, and I looked at, and listen, King Coogee said it. Some folks are just really so caught up in that thing, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear about the new improved because they're so attached to that old iteration. Child, okay, and let me go back to the iteration of the process, the algorithm that's required for eating a bowl of cereal. Get the bowl, get the eating utensil, get the milk, get the cereal. And even if we go to an automated version where you can push a button and all of that happens at once, you don't have to do a thing. All of that happens at once. All of that just from the push of a button. That's the iteration that may exist in the current or the future. And some of y'all still gonna say, baby, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna continue to get my bowl, get my spoon. But then there may be coming a day that your activities of daily living are limited and restricted, and you don't have any other choice but to use that iteration. Then what do I hear? Child, this newfangled stuff, I don't even know how to use it. I'm gonna sit up here and starve because I don't know how to. They told me that but I don't understand it. I don't know nothing about that. All I know is how to get my bowl, my spoon, the box of cereal, and the milk. I don't know nothing about this. Take me, Jesus. I don't want to be here no more. I can't do it. Y'all ain't ready for me. And I want you to understand that iterations have a purpose. And iterations, there's a reason for change and movement. There's a reason that the process is still the same, but we come up with another method in our technology in the process to simplify it, or to address a challenge, or to heal something and fix something that's broken, or to be more efficient. There's a purpose for the iteration. Am I talking to anybody? And instead of us throwing up our hands, take me, Jesus, it's a new iteration. It's a new iteration. I don't know nothing about this. I don't know how to work this. I don't know how to live here. I don't know how to live this. I don't know. Instead of that, I just need you look at the iteration that you are. Make sure it aligns with the most recent version of you. Because some of us are still living a past you life. Am I talking to anybody? Some of us are still living, I'm gonna say it again, and this may be kind of complicated. I hope not. I hope I broke this down to where it makes sense. Some of you are still living a past you life, and you're literally in turmoil. You're literally in struggle. You're literally in grief. You're literally in a battle to move into this iteration of you. But I promise you, that past you ain't got nothing on this iteration of you. That past you was good. I'm not knocking it. I'm not putting it down. It was beautiful. And in some instances, it wasn't. But I promise that the current iteration of you is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Come through. Like going home where you grew up and folks still doing the same things they did when you were growing up, King Coogee. They haven't moved into the new iteration. They're not living the new iteration of themselves. They got stuck. I found most people aren't always ready to accept your personal upgrades, so you learn to continue your process and keep responding from that new iteration until they learn that I no longer respond. Come on! Psalmist 4, I love it. Don't stop. Don't stop being you in your new iteration just because people keep wanting to see you in your old iteration or can't understand, can't comprehend, can't relate. Baby, you just don't, I'm doing a good work and I can't come down. Don't get distracted because they can't. No, ma'am, no, sir. That's a good word, Psalmist 4. I love it. Can't drive that car looking in the rearview mirror or you're destined to crash. I love it. I love it. Now listen, and I'm gonna read the rest of that. I learned, I'm gonna read it again because somebody needs to get this down in your shondo. And this is a good word, Psalmist 4. You found most people aren't always ready to accept my personal upgrades, So I learned to continue my process. There are 3 operative words there that are huge. Continue your process and keep responding from the new iteration. Respond from that new place. Don't go back and get that old iteration. Respond from your new iteration until they learn that you no longer respond to their position of status, state as it pertains to your life. Stasis. That's a good word. That's a good word. That's a good word. Come on, Mac 522. It's a new iteration of you. Come on, MCP 812. It's a new iteration of you. Come on, King Coogee. Everybody's not meant to be there. Come on. I love it. Did it speak to you, Keisha Key? Because she said a word right there. She said a word right there. That's why I love Yes You OQ one-on-one, just me and you, because the stuff that you all say in here is just so profound. It's so real. And somebody right now, even in hearing this word, you're struggling because you're like, you're at the precipice. Your feet are right there on the edge of crossing over into that next iteration of you, and you feel everything in you resisting the transfer of power. But I need you to transfer the power into your next iteration. Show them who you are, but I need you to do it from the right iteration of you. Amen. Now, I know I didn't get into it as deeply as I thought I would because I kind of ran out of time, but we were doing some good talk. We did some good conversation in here about education and our kids and ourselves and all that good stuff. So there's no apology here, but I may come back and talk about the iteration a little bit more on tomorrow, because I can tell you right now that for some of you, and I'm going to almost say for many of you, is the struggle that you feel. And let me take the word struggle away. I want to take that off the table. That's the pressure that you feel. It's like birthing. It's the pressure that you feel. It's the birthing pain. It's the labor pain. It's the pressure that you feel right now because you're being pressed and pushed into your next iteration. You're being pressed and pushed into your next iteration. And something about that feels a little bit uncomfortable. Something about that feels a little frightening, a little scary. Something about that has you just a little bit pensive, a little bit, And it's not even so much that you're trying to resist as much as it just takes a push to get it out. It takes a push to birth it. That pressure is so strong and everything's happening all at once. And yes, a little poop might come out with it. Come on, mothers, tell the truth. Y'all know y'all got on that delivery table and sometime it wasn't just the baby coming out. Sometimes some of that brown stuff came out too. Am I talking to anybody? Let's keep it real. Listen, we know how we do it over here. We in the lion's den. We take this coffee, no cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tells it like it T-I-Z-T-S. A little brown stuff might come out in the process. But the brown stuff does not override the gift of the life and the baby that comes out. That brown stuff, we ain't even looking at that. Who cares? Ain't nobody paying attention to that. Ain't nobody paying attention to that. Because I know who I am and I understand that I'm a spiritual being having a natural experience. I'm not a natural being having a spiritual experience. I realize who I am and I'm still in boss energy. It was my boss energy that gave me the strength to push this baby out. It was my boss energy that did that. We're not worried about the little brown stuff over there on the side. We're not worried about the afterbirth that's on the baby. We're not worried about all the extra and all the messy stuff that came out with what I birthed. All I'm concerned about is my baby. And so you know what? I don't care if a little brown stuff came out. I don't care about the afterbirth. Now that the baby's here, I know how to clean the baby up and give it life. Am I talking to anybody? Now that the baby's here, I know how to clean the brown stuff. I know how to get rid of the afterbirth. And I know how to clean the baby up and give it life. In this iteration, I'm giving this baby life. And listen, so I'm gonna close with this, but I want you to get this down in your shondo. And I know this ain't, hey, we was up in here shouting. We shouted from the beginning of yesterday's stream all the way through the end of the stream. This ain't one of them shouting days, but I'm telling you something here if you listen to me. Some of your babies are ready to birth, but you are so concentrated, devoted to, stuck in that past iteration of yourself that this baby is struggling to get out and get breath and have life because your attention is still on this over here in that past iteration of you. Is anybody hearing what I'm saying? And so to put it in the terms, and this has been my every morning, every morning I've been getting up hearing my dad. My dad was also a preacher. I've been hearing my dad's voice in my head. And at the close of so many of his sermons, he would always say, you're living beneath your privilege. 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 And I've just been hearing that. I've been hearing my father's voice almost daily. You're living beneath your privilege. And this is why I've committed myself to teach, to share, to encourage boss energy. Because listen, if you're just out here not recognizing that you're a spiritual being having a natural experience in boss energy, you will be living beneath your privilege. And I don't want to live beneath my privilege, but I don't want you living beneath your privilege either. That means that you've got to get into the current iteration of yourself. That's who you're streaming. That's who you're broadcasting, not those former iterations. And you can talk about those former iterations all day long. That's not a problem. You can remember. I can remember when we had when we first, I remember the first computer I had at my job, that big old clunky thing, and we thought, oh my God, we're really doing something here. But at the end of the day, I look at what we've got now, and whether you realize it or not, I'm sure you do. Your cell phone is nothing more than just a handheld computer. That's all it is. It's a handheld computer device. And I think back when the first computers took up whole buildings, and they used those little computer cards that we used to make Christmas wreaths out of. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all have no clue what I'm talking about. Took up whole buildings with them big old computer cards. And now I can hold a full computer just as powerful as everything in my hand because of iterations. Because of iterations. And I want you to understand that. If you're still needing that old clunky computer that takes up a whole building and really weren't that powerful, truth be told, in comparison to today's computers, they weren't powerful at all. They were just new. And this is what I want you to understand. The novelty of your past iteration is over. The newness of it is over. And in comparison to the iteration of you today, it's nowhere nearly as powerful as the iteration of you right now. Why would you take that old clunky big machinery that takes up buildings and is ineffective with little power when you can have this in your hand? Potency, ability, speed. Why would you pass up all of those to go back to an old iteration of yourself? And so at the end of the day, I'm going to get out of here. My time is up, but I want you to seriously do introspection. This isn't about looking at anybody else. This has nothing to do with anybody else. And I said this earlier, and I've said it this week a few times. Nobody can stop you but you. Nobody can block you but you. I need you to release those old, past, impotent iterations of yourself and come into the iteration that is you right now. And it looks good on you. It looks good on you. I want you to look in the mirror when you get off this stream and just look at yourself, the next mirror that you pass. And I want you to think about your iteration. And I want you to say, "Ooh, it looks good on you." I mean that. I'm starting with the man in the mirror, KB Browns. And when you look in the mirror, the next time you pass one, KB Browns, I literally want you to say, "This iteration looks good on me. This iteration looks good on me." And I want you to do that thing. I want you to live that thing. And I want you to be that thing. Show them who you are. Well, I feel for my brother and I feel for my sister. This has been another edition of Yes You O Cube. It's one-on-one, just me and you. I am your spiritual thought leader, Regina L. Stillman, and I'm so glad that you're here. I promise you, I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that this has been a blessing to you. You have truly been a blessing to me. I want y'all to come on and follow me. I'm out here and I'm all kind of places, y'all. I'm all kind of places to keep telling you, make sure that you're doing the current iteration of yourself. Don't go get that old version. Get the newest version of you and live it. And follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, Twitter, Twitch, Anchor, Discord, and more. I'm out there, y'all. I'm out there. And you know this is my mantra that I want you to get up and say every day. I am all powerful in love. Yes, I am, because I don't have a spirit of fear. I don't have a spirit of intimidation. I got power. I've got love. I've got a sound mind. And this iteration of me, it looks good on me. You better ask somebody. And listen, I don't want you to just talk about change. I want you to be the change. And understand you're not in this alone, because it's us, you, me, we all. This pride, Pride, this Pride Alliance is relentless. And you're going to hear us roar. I want y'all to do this thing, y'all, because listen, for this purpose and for this time, we're being manifested and revealed to the earth and to the world to make all the difference in the world. Pay attention, because you're not just a spiritual being. You're not just a natural being having a spiritual experience, but it's the other way around. I'm a spiritual being and I'm having a natural experience in boss energy. And when you get that down in your shondo, I want you to get up out of here and make it happen. I want to appreciate everybody up in here today, because I love every last one of you. Yes, I do. I love you. I love you. I love you. It's so powerful in the lion's den when I come in and I meet your beautiful energy. I get a chance to have a conversation and listen and share and listen. It just makes my day. I got the best moderators in the world, y'all. Michelle Browno, the Rebel Inc., and Shelly Thunder. I love you guys. Y'all just all that in a bag of chips. I love my subscribers and resubs that made it happen today. Come on, Mac522. I appreciate you. She is a new streamer. Y'all go follow. Mike City. Hi, I am Lex. I thank you for your resubs today, but please follow Mac522, Keisha Key, Mac522, Psalmist 4, DJ Stacy Bless One, Shelly Thunder, BTD Mom, Michelle Browno, DJ Onyx Heart, Sexy Vibes, Crazy Berrytown, Mike City, J Trey 707, The Rebel Inc. Come through, Angel Eyes 2005, Stacy 546. Thank you for sharing the stream. And at the end of the day, please copy the raid message, because we're gonna go share this love with somebody else. And you know how I like to do it. Peace for your journey.
I feel for my brother.